Hello, mysterious person behind the screen. We're back with another Bond commentary. I am once again joined by Isaac.
Mr. and Mrs. Viewers, I've been expecting you.
And today we're doing George Lazenby's one and only turn in the role of James Bond on Her Majesty's Secret Service. So I think, without further ado,
If you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, put the film to the start and press play in 3, 2, 1, go!
one of my very favourite films in the series. I love this film.
Yeah, it comes in my top 10, and I think 50 years, I mean, it's 50 years old now, Christ.
Yeah.
50 years down the line, I think, yeah, audience appreciation has definitely grown for it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, because when it came out, it was obviously that whole thing of it's not got Sean Connery and who's this guy and everything, and it got swept under the rug for
hmm
years. It's just that one without that one with the guy who never did anymore. But I think as sort of time's gone on, people
Not a
really
big,
like this.
not a big fan of that, of the way Lazenby does the gun barrel. The way he gets
Yeah,
down on one knee, it looks like he's proposing.
yeah. Well, it fits with the theme of the film. But
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, I agree. It is really weird. And what do you think of the we've just seen there? The whole the fact that the blood makes him disappear. Uh,
I think it's quite a cool effect.
yeah, me too. I think
Yeah.
it's yeah. It's interesting that you get to this, and I think when you watch them in order, you get to the start of this one, and they do hold off on showing Bond for a while, and I think they make a very clear choice to show the all the cast that are returning. Like the first scene being
hmm
the MI6 lot. Um, it's interesting that
Yeah, I
that's
do. Yeah, I really like Bond's introduction here. And I think every film, I think aside from Live and Let Die, which is Roger Moore's first film, have made an effort to yeah, show off the new Bond in a great way. Because with Live and Let Die, it's literally, oh, here's Bond in his home, and
yeah.
here's his mission.
He's just
The new
in
Bond's
bed.
here, just get over it. Yeah,
This is one of my favorite introductions to a new Bond. Actually, just the way he's like shrouded in mystery
yeah.
until the big reveal. Um, yeah, I think he's
I mean,
great.
him lighting a cigarette, it reminds me of a pun in Tomorrow Never Dies. He punches a guy with a cig and says, filthy habit. I'm like, you
Yeah,
can't talk. You smoke all the time.
exactly.
I don't think we ever see Brosnan or Craig light up. Because I know we see Dalton do it in License to Kill, and I'm sure
Yes.
Roger Moore lights up.
Oh yeah, he will do. I can't remember a specific occasion, but he must do. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's interesting. We definitely don't see Craig light up at all.
Yeah, suppose if you've got to be a secret agent, you can't
Yeah,
really smoke because you've got to be in the best of health.
yeah, exactly. I mean, this whole thing though is like again, this is such a visually, this is such a
Yeah, the way that.
immediate like distinction from the previous films. It's so different already, and it's so sort of I don't know. It's really classy all of a sudden, and all these shots are just really well done. I think the direction of
Yeah,
this
its
is
budget
amazing.
is definitely up on screen, but it
Mm.
feels more grounded in reality.
Yeah, I think it's brilliantly directed as well. It's a shame Peter Hunt didn't make any more.
Yeah, because this is Christopher Nolan's favorite Bond film, and it's
Mm.
also film critic Mark Commode's favorite Bond film.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Mark Commode's. It really is one of my favorites. It's so
hmm
like all this like no
I'd say my
dialogue.
criticism of it, yeah, I'd say my criticism of it is that I do think it's like 15 minutes too long. I thought you could have cut some stuff out.
I was gonna
And
say yeah.
also, Lazenby's performance, I'd say like 65% of the time is pretty wooden.
Yeah, I agree on the on it being too long. And Lazenby, I think it's one of those cases where if he had done more, he would have got a lot better in the role.
Oh
But
yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's just I don't think obviously we'll never know, but he's I don't hate him in this, but he's definitely not
hmm
great. Um, like this delivery. My name's
I mean,
Bond, James
Calvin.
Bond. It's very it's an odd delivery.
Yeah, Calvin Bond reviewer. He made a really good point when it came to introducing a new Bond. He said moments like where Bond introduces himself and says the iconic catchphrase, it has to be earned. Where
Mm,
because yeah, here it's his first word, and yeah, you want to get people on board, but I think in Casino Royale he doesn't say it until the very end of the film when he corners Mr. White.
yeah, and then at the end of that, when he says it at the end of that film, it's a proper like punch the air
Mm,
moment. Like, yeah, Bond, this is Bond is now fully formed, and I agree. I mean, again, it sort of speaks to that thing of trying to reassure audiences at the time. This is the same guy, that Sean Connery's not here, but it doesn't matter. It's James Bond. It's trying desperately to reassure all the audiences that
Well, in the original script, they were going to put in a line that said Bond had gotten plastic surgery in order to
mm,
confuse his enemies on who he is.
yeah, I'm kind of I don't know. I don't think this kind of thing really needs explaining. I mean, here I've always have mixed feelings on this line coming up when this never happened to the other fellow. I've always got
I
mixed
mean,
feelings on that.
I've heard some theorize that he's jokingly referring to Prince Charming and
Yeah.
Cinderella, like the prince saves the princess and they usually get together, whereas
Mm.
here, obviously, the girl runs away from him.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of if you really want to get around it, that's kind of the belief that I just like, yeah, whatever. That's what he was talking about. It's clearly meant to be like a fourth wall break, and it's just ill-advised because you're trying to reassure everyone that it's James Bond by saying the catchphrase and everything, and you just take it takes me out of it every time because it's just he's almost winking at the camera. So
hmm
yeah, I kind of think yeah, Prince Charming, whatever, because of the slipper and everything. It's yeah. Yeah, he does look at the camera. Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
he sort of turns, and it's kind of weird because the film sped up towards the end of that. But I
I
love this
remember when I first
music.
watched this, I said, wait, this is the theme to The Incredibles.
Oh God, yeah, it sounds. I do
Da,
love this
da,
music.
da, da, da. Yeah, it is
Yeah, it
good.
is.
But I'm
God,
surprised they didn't open it with We Have All the Time in the World, because that's a great song.
yeah, that's kind of the song like when you say Bond songs. That's the one I associate with this. But it does, and that's the one that's woven into the music as well. Um,
hmm
but even just this, I really like though. I just think this is a great piece of music. It's so sort of exciting, and I love it later on when it's played in the action scenes and everything, and all the variations. I think it's brilliant.
hmm
Again, like this hourglass thing, trying desperately to reassure everyone that no, this is meant to be the same universe. This is we're going
Yeah,
through it.
because Spectre did something similar like this, because they showed Le Chiffre, Rouse Silver, and
Mm,
Judi Dench's M, that they conveniently left out Dominic Green.
yeah, I always find that funny. Yeah, that's really the
Even though
only
they
other.
reference him directly in the film.
They do.
So
I
is this the last Bond film not to have a song, just has incidental music?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
hmm
it's interesting actually. I think because most people, when they hear the Bond song, they associate it with the main titles. Um,
hmm
I mean, this there, that's got those credits list kind of two songs. We do you know how Christmas trees are grown, and I almost never think of that song when I think about this film.
hmm
But it's interesting. Earlier at the start of the title sequence, it didn't. The credit said, it usually says starring Sean Connery as Ian Fleming's 007 in blah 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 blah, blah, and then it list the rest of the cast. I find it interesting that this one doesn't do that. It just says starring George Lazenby. It doesn't do the whole George Lazenby as Ian Fleming's Bond, which is it's interesting. Because I get the sense that from a lot of this that they're trying to be confident and going, yeah, James Bond. Doesn't matter if Sean Connery's not here, this is James Bond. But I also kind of feel like there are points where they're not confident in it. And that kind of showed through the marketing as well.
I mean, I was watching Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. In 1982, they did a 20th anniversary special for Bond, where they picked out their favourite moments, their favourite films, their favourite Bond actor.
Yeah.
And Gene Siskel was really harsh on Lazenby. He said he lacks any screen presence, and now he'll just be remembered as an answer to a trivia question of who played James Bond that one time.
Yeah, I feel like people are too harsh on him. He's not brilliant, but he's just I think he works perfectly for the film that he's in. I think if you put him in a film like, oh, that shot's amazing with the pool and everything. I'm going to be doing that a lot in this film. I'm just going to be like, oh, that's really nice. But like if you put him in a more sort of bombastic, like I don't think he'd work in something like Goldfinger at all. But like this,
no,
yeah, like for the tone of this story, and it's a more emotional film and stuff. I think he works for the film that he's in.
Yeah, the more tongue-in-cheek, bombastic, and silly Bonds, he probably wouldn't have worked in. In fact, he might have been far worse.
Yeah, because when he does the quips in this, he seems like he doesn't seem entirely comfortable with it.
Like what we just saw when he said this never happened to the other fellow. He's like, wait, what am I saying?
Yeah, he kind of reads every line like this, like, and it's. But like I said earlier, it's. I think it's something that would have been ironed out had he done more, and because obviously this was his first big thing, and it's just it is a shame that he didn't come back for Diamonds Are Forever. I think if he had come back for that, and that in it had been, yeah, he played it twice, you know, I think people would be kinder towards him. But it is just that reputation of, oh, he did it that once and he didn't do it again, so therefore he must be bad.
He's the Paul McGann of Doctor Who, of James Bond, or is that the George Lazenby of Doctor Who?
Yeah, Paul McGann always says that. He goes, oh yeah, I was the George Lazenby one. And just the way this is done and everything, like not... It feels like that Peter Hunt has gone, I'm going to really think about each shot in this. I feel like that shot there of like the fact that you don't see Tracy, you just see her from the neck down, and then that reveal of her when she bends over. In another Bond film with a more sort of workman-like director, I don't think we would have had that. I think she would have just walked into the scene and they wouldn't have made anything of it. It feels like there's a lot of deliberate, subtle choices in this. It's part of why I love it, because it just feels like on another level from what's come before this.
Yeah, because Thunderball and You Only Live Twice were big and loud, and this is a lot. This is more or less a love story.
It is, yeah. It's quiet and intimate, and
very much like Casino Royale. And I think, along with that film, it might be the only one where they kill off the main Bond girl at the end.
Yeah, I think I mean, because a lot of people compare this to Casino Royale because it is very, very similar to it in a lot of ways. And I really, really hope that No Time to Die doesn't just remake this, because I know a lot of people were saying that, oh, if what's her face from Spectre dies, and then this just becomes, and then that film just becomes sort of a similar story to this and stuff. I don't know. I hope they don't do that. I didn't.
Yeah, the cinematography and lighting is great for this film.
It's fantastic.
Just bright and It's bright and colourful, but it's not like camp or anything. It's just
Yeah,
visually interesting to look at.
it is very and like the lighting, the red and everything. Again, I think in another Bond film with a director who was more straightforward, I don't think we'd have got that. I don't think it would just be, very simple shots.
Hmm.
I mean, this fight, admittedly, I think a lot of the action sequences in this are a little bit janky, and like here with the sped up film and everything, it's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah,
I,
it does
I
look.
think,
I don't think they needed it because they're pretty well choreographed.
yeah. I mean, didn't isn't there that famous story about George Lazenby broke the stunt guy's nose because he didn't know how to punch on camera? It was like during an audition, and he just
Yeah,
punched the stunt guy and broke his nose, and that's
I mean, I've done unarmed stage combat. I know how to punch someone on stage.
yeah,
I don't think I should say because it might ruin the magic.
yeah, yeah, like that gate crusher. It's I don't know.
I'll leave you to tidy it up.
Yeah, I don't think it. Obviously, we'll get onto it later, but I don't think it helps that he's dubbed as well. Later on in the film, where he's doing that dual role as
Is he dubbed by someone else, or did he have to redub his dialogue?
no, he's dubbed by someone else, and that's kind of what when he's playing Hillary. Is it Grey or Bray? When he's doing that, he's
Oh,
dubbed.
the Count.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When he's sort of going undercover, that is actually the actor who plays the real character. It's kind of hard to explain. That it's another actor
Oh,
dubbing him over, and it's unfortunate because I think again Calvin Dyson has said it a lot as an actor and as a first-time actor as well. George Lazenby, I don't think he has the subtlety to convey Bond being undercover
hmm
and also keeping up
That's
this
true.
persona.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like keeping up this persona, but also being undercover and being James Bond and everything. And the fact that he is dubbed over, maybe there was some subtlety in his voice or something, but it's kind of lost, and it's a shame. But I think he does kind of sound dubbed throughout this film sometimes, like just the way, even when he isn't, he sounds like he's dubbed. It's weird. I think it's just that's what his voice is like.
Tracy has quite possibly the poshest accent I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah, she's so posh. She's great though. She's one of my favourite Bond girls.
Yeah, and Diana Rigg, she's from West Yorkshire, where I'm from.
Oh,
So
really?
I don't know where she. Yeah, she probably picked up the.
Yeah.
She might have picked up the posh accent from Rada.
It's that thing, isn't it? It's like a lot of Doctor Who in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I think there's that famous story where Dodo from Doctor Who, they wanted her to be a bit more sort of working class, and then halfway through they were like, no, got to be BBC English, and she starts talking really posh, and it's like, oh
Hmm.
god, you doesn't mesh at all. And there was this expectation that you had to speak like that.
I think what they should do for the 60th anniversary of Bond is get all the surviving Bond actors back. Call it the Day of Bond.
Yeah, yeah, multi-Bond story.
Hmm.
I'm interested to see what they'll do for the 60th anniversary, actually, because I mean,
Or they might just say screw it and have no time to die with the 60th
yeah,
anniversary.
delay it again. I mean, at this point, I cannot see that coming out in November or October, whenever it's supposed to be out. November, isn't it? I can't see that coming out then.
Yeah.
If Tenet keeps getting delayed like it is, I cannot see James Bond being opening then. We'll see what happens with that, but it's just that film seems to be cursed.
Yeah, because it was meant to come out November 2019, but it
Yeah.
was pushed back to April.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was pushed back again because it was pushed back to February. It was supposed to be Valentine's Day. Then it was April, and we were like, okay, April. Yeah, cool. That was the date for the longest time. And then COVID happened. And now it looks like it's going to be delayed again. So, who knows?
I mean, some people are saying the whole virus thing and shutting the world down, it's like something out of a Bond film.
Yeah. I mean, wasn't there rumours that part of the reason as well was it was delayed because apparently there's a rumour that the villain's plot in that involves like some virus or something, which is unfortunate.
It could be, you never know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
you've got On Majesty's Secret Service and is it Moonraker, where Drax wants to release a virus upon the Earth?
Yeah, it's Moonraker.
So I think there's only 2 Bond films that have dealt with a virus.
I'm surprised because it seems
I could
like
be wrong. Yeah, they're playing We Have All the Time in the World now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It reoccurs throughout the score quite a bit, which is
Also, the funny thing is, last year, this film celebrated its 50th anniversary, Moonraker 40th, License to Kill 30th, and The World Is Not Enough 20th.
Yeah, at the BFI, didn't they screen this Moonraker and World Is Not Enough? I think so. Yeah, they screened it because it was like the anniversaries.
So they missed out License to Kill.
Yeah,
well, that's a shame.
It is a shame because that's again, License to Kill is one of my favourites.
Mhm.
It is weird to think. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I do like the sound effects for the fight sequences. They are good.
Yeah, me. I'm not sure if this one has ever been censored over the years or whether that censorship is still in this version or whatever. I know there are a few differences between this and the DVD version. Like there's a few extra lines being inserted here and there, which is weird, but I don't know. I know there's that infamous... Have you ever heard about that infamous TV edit of this from the 70s?
Nope, I have not.
There's this weird... It's floating around on the internet. It was in America, I think it was ABC showed this, but they re-edited the film from scratch in a really weird way. So it started in the middle, and then it skipped back to the beginning, and then it kept skipping back and forth, and you had this American guy who was trying to sound like James Bond, going, "James Bond here, I'm in this," like narrating and filling in the gaps. It's weird. You can find it online. It's like, it's just bizarre.
Wow.
Like it starts off where he's escaping from Piz Gloria, where he's being chased, the ski chase. Then it starts off with like, "My name's James Bond, and all these orange-suited bully boys are chasing me down this slope." It's it's insane. I always thought this guy looked like the guy who played Kerim Bey from Russia with Love.
Is this George Baker or?
Ooh.
Wait, hold on.
I don't know.
I'll just look this up. Because I know he's in this. Does he play her dad? Oh wait, Sir Hilary. No, he plays Sir Hilary Bray.
Oh, that's who dubs Lazenby over then. Later on.
Yeah, I mean George Baker was in he was in Full Circle in Doctor Who.
Oh, was he? Oh,
yeah, and he was in he played Emperor Tiberius in I, Claudius, which I've not seen but I've heard is a great BBC drama.
Is that the one with Derek Jacobi?
Yeah, and John Hurt as Caligula.
Yeah, like I said, I've not seen it, but I've heard it's really good.
Now, I could be wrong, but I think the reason that Christopher Nolan puts snowy mountains into a lot of his films is because of this film.
Oh, really? Oh, it's because
Yeah.
a lot of like famous directors really point to this, and
Hmm.
really love it, and it's easy to see why. It's
The funny thing is, I think in the books, Thunderball, this, and You Only Live Twice form like a trilogy
yeah,
because they all involve Spectre and Blofeld and yeah, because this was supposed to come after Thunderball, but it was the wrong time of year to film. Where did they film it? The Alps?
yes, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Because that
it
creates
was the
a
wrong time of it was the wrong time of year to film it, so they
mm,
did You Only Live Twice instead.
yeah, and that creates a little bit of a continuity error, doesn't it? Because they stick so close to the book that Blofeld doesn't recognize Bond in this, despite having
Hmm.
met
Meeting him.
previously. But obviously, in the books, it was in a different order. So that's kind of one of
Plus,
my
you only live.
things about this. I'm
So,
just like,
yeah, because I heard from the book version of You Only Live Twice, it's about Bond, being a drunken wreck after Tracy being killed and getting revenge
yeah.
on Blofeld.
So basically, it's what Diamonds Are Forever should have been. But
Yeah, I mean, when Roald Dahl wrote the screenplay for You Only Live Twice, he admit he didn't read the book, he just copied the plot of Doctor No.
yeah, I always forget that Roald Dahl wrote that. It's weird to
Yeah,
me.
you think Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Twits, Matilda, and a Bond film.
Yeah, I. But I mean, because does this film ever like? Because you could kind of pretend that. Oh no, I was gonna say you could kind of pretend that You Only Live Twice didn't happen, but I don't know. It is, it is a weird because you
Yeah.
can. It's one of those things that you can't really get around. The fact that Blofeld doesn't recognize him, it's really difficult to get around it. Um,
Yeah, because if you have this follow Thunderball, it does make more sense,
yeah,
because he takes out Largo at the end of that, but obviously Largo's working for Blofeld, so
yeah. I mean,
it's up to Bond to track down the real villain.
yeah. I mean, because there's a lot of people who say that it when you get to Diamonds Are Forever, it seems like it's trying to pretend that this didn't exist because the opening shot of Diamonds Are Forever is in Japan, and obviously You Only Live Twice left off in Japan. So there's a lot of people who say it's sort of like almost trying to pretend that this didn't really happen.
But in later years, they do reference it
They
in
do, yeah.
passing, because in For Your Eyes Only, he lays down flowers at Tracy Bond's grave.
Mm.
And I think in License to Kill and The World Is Not Enough, Bond is asked, "Have you ever been married?" And he just says once, so he shrugs it off.
Yeah. And in Spy You Love Me, he gets really Anya keeps bringing it up, and he gets really sort of touchy about it. Um, so that was interesting that they actually played audio from those films, which I always forget about. Like you hear Honey Rider singing from Doctor No and the theme song from Russia with Love and everything. Again, it's really trying to go. This is in the same universe as the others. I like that. I like that Moneypenny sort of has a hand in this.
The next film, Diamonds Are Forever, that's officially the last appearance of Blofeld until, well, Spectre, isn't it?
Officially, yeah, even though he basically does appear in For Your Eyes Only. But yeah,
I mean, that was the filmmakers basically saying, fuck you, to
yeah,
Kevin
Kevin McClory.
McCrory. Hmm.
He's basically Blover. Yeah, it's technically the last appearance, but not really. Because of course he's in Never Say Never Again as well, which is obviously an unofficial film, but it's it is weird when you think about it that for the longest time before Spectre, technically Blofeld was really only existed in the 60s and early 70s in these films. Yet he's easily the most iconic of all the villains.
Yeah, he's like the Joker to Batman or the Master
yeah.
to the Doctor. Well, I think he was supposed to appear in Spy Who Loved Me, but
Yeah.
I think because of legal reasons they couldn't use him, so they just renamed him Stromberg.
Actually, it seems I kind of it always surprises me how quickly we get the montage, because the montage of them falling in love is coming up in a minute, isn't it? So it always surprises me how quickly we get that. Because I guess that is kind of another one of my complaints about this. Is that Tracy does kind of disappear from the film for a bit. Like, she goes away for a good hour of the film, and then she comes back when he's in the town after escaping. But yeah, I don't know.
I think Diana Rigg, I think this was like one of her first big films, because she was mainly known for TV and theatre, but this was one of her first films.
Was the Avengers was before this, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's why she was cast.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, that's kind of what she's, I think, known for most outside of this is really the Avengers. And I always forget that she's in Doctor Who, in
Yeah, and she's
Crimson
in
Horror.
Game of Thrones. She's in Game of Thrones as well.
Oh, is she?
Hmm. She's also in The Great Muppet Caper, where she equally sounds as posh as this.
Oh, is she in that? Is she? I need to. That's one of the ones I haven't seen
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, she has a really good joke. She's giving out plot exposition to Miss Piggy, and she asks, "Why did you say all that?" And she says, "Plot exposition, my dear. It has to go somewhere."
I feel like all these shots of the bullfight, you could easily cut these out.
Yeah.
There's yeah, they do not need to be here. Feels like they were like, oh, well, we went all the trouble to go out on location to film this. We might as well make the most of it.
Yeah, surprised they didn't use this for the title sequence.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of edits online of where they put this over the title sequence. But you
And
know,
they also should have played it over the end credits,
yeah,
cause they just play the Bond theme,
mm,
don't they? And it just kind of says, well, that sucks, see you in 2 years for
yeah,
the next one.
exactly. I actually I did a while, but like the other year, I put it on my Twitter account. I
Hmm.
did replace that music in the end credits. I should probably put that on YouTube actually, but it's on my Twitter.
Do it.
It's on my Twitter if anyone's interested somewhere. Um, but I find that it worked a lot better if you just replaced. Like I used an instrumental version of this, and it fit with the scene so much more than that quiet little fade out of the song at the end, and then we get da 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 da, and it's like, oh right, well, that's undercuts all the tension. I mean, you know, I can. At the time, it must have been like, this is, you know, nearly 40 minutes into the film, and there's not really been any action yet. This is all very slow, and like I imagine at the time, it was quite.
Yeah, it's very, you know what this needs? Underwater fighting. That's all the rage these days.
I mean, the
We
thing.
need underwater fighting and then Japanese stereotypes. That's what this
Yes.
film's missing.
Oh yes, exactly. I mean, the thing is though, like being like the age I am now, that's what I love about it, is that how sort of quiet it
Hmm.
is, and it's so sort of takes its time. That's what I love about it now. But I imagine at the time it was like, new Bond, can't wait to see him in action, and the fact that he does spend a lot of it just falling in love. It's different. It is very different.
Yeah, it's what Lazenby I think brings to the role,
Yeah,
vulnerability.
exactly, and that's what I mean when I say I think he suits this film, because I really just think he does suit this quieter version of the character who isn't as much of a sort of invincible uh, superhero, really.
Imagine him saying some of Roger Moore's puns. Sorry, darling, something came up.
Something came up.
Wink, wink. Funny.
um, yeah, I really think he would have struggled in the tone of the Moore films, really. In general, I think the music's fantastic in this. Like that, all this here, even though it's so sort of subtle, but the tension is quite, really palpable. I think, and it's all because of the music.
I think Sean Connery even said he would have loved to have done a film like this, film more grounded in reality and not overloaded with gadgets and
Mm,
set pieces.
yeah, because he
It's
has.
Bernard Horsfall.
Yes, it is. I always forget he's in this. Good old Bernard Horsfall. He's one of the best names ever. Um, but Sean Connery has commented on this before, isn't he? I think he said it was.
Yeah, I think he said it was a film I would have liked to have done.
Yeah, I'm trying to have a look now because I'm sure I've read a quote. I've read a quote from somewhere. Uh,
like how even today Lazenby still fully embraces the fact that he was James Bond.
Yeah, he still like goes to signings and things, and stuff like that. He doesn't hide away from it in the way that you would kind of expect him to, because of that whole thing that he for ages was like, oh yeah, he's the worst James Bond. He only did the one, blah 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 blah. The film's not very good. You would expect him to sort of hide away from it, but I'm glad he does sort of go, yeah, I did this and it was cool.
Yeah, because I know he was for the 40th anniversary of Bond, the TV show Parkinson did a special, and they had all the Bond actors there apart from Sean Connery, who wasn't available. It's quite an interesting watch because each actor talks about their time as Bond and
Yeah.
their favourite moments. I mean, Roger Moore was just like, I didn't enjoy the fight scenes and I didn't even enjoy the love scenes.
I always
It's
forget.
quite sad to see because Pierce Brosnan says, I've had a lot of fun doing 4 films and I've signed on for a 5th one.
Oh,
I'm like, oh no, it doesn't happen.
yeah. I always forget that Roger Moore is no longer with us. It's one of those things that I always forget about. And the fact that he's the only
Yeah, it is a shame.
only Bond to not still be surviving.
The funny thing is, Timothy Dalton was actually considered to be Bond in this film, but
Yeah,
because he was only 22, he just thought he was too young.
yeah, which I kind of agree with. I think for a film like this, I mean, Lazenby's only 29 in this, and I think he looks
Yeah,
older.
he's still the youngest Bond actor.
But I think he looks older.
I know for Casino Royale, Henry Cavill was considered for it.
Yeah, he wasn't he? Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of.
He's certainly in shape to play Bond.
But I mean, that's the thing, because a lot of people do kind of say, like, when they say, who do you want to be James Bond? A lot of the time it is kind of like, yeah, Henry Cavill, people like that. And he would fit, but, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I've seen him in The Tudors where he plays Charles Brandon, and at least in the earlier seasons, he's very much a womanizer, does the king's dirty work. So yeah, he kind of played the Bond of the Tudor era, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think. Because he did that. What did he do? What was the film he did a few years ago where he played a spy? What was that called? Man from Uncle.
I
Yeah, he did that, and he was he looked like James Bond in that. It was.
Wasn't he in Mission Impossible as well?
Oh yeah, he was, because there's that famous. That's the reason why he the Justice League thing with the moustache, because
Yeah, the
Paramount wouldn't let him shave his moustache, so he did all the reshoots with the moustache, which they CGI'd out very poorly.
yeah, I've seen the pictures. But I wonder, would people have been commenting on it if they actually came out and said we had to CGI out a mustache?
I think people would have been. I think people would have been like, his face looks weird. Because you can kind of. I went to see Justice League with a few of my friends who didn't know about it, and they and afterwards I went, did you think something? Because I knew about it, and after the film I went, did you think something looks weird about Henry Cavill's face? And they went, now that you mention it, yeah. And then I told them about the mustache thing. I feel like it's one of those things that if you don't know, you don't notice it, but there is something off about it. Wasn't Adam West considered for Bond at some point around this time as well?
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Quick, to the Aston Martin mobile. Also, the 12 girls of Blofeld that you see in this,
Yeah.
weren't they the winners of a competition?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I know that Joanna Lumley's in there. Uh,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's
because I was watching the behind the making of documentary, and they said after Thunderball came out and was such a massive hit, they put out a competition for 12 girls to appear in their next film, which was going to be On Her Majesty's Secret Service. But because it got pushed back, I wonder, did they still include them, or did they just forget about it?
interesting. No, I don't know. I like I said, I know that Joanna Lumley's in there, so maybe.
Ah, this is Sir Hilary, yeah.
Yeah, and that's who dubs Bond over later. The world is not enough.
Yeah, because when I first watched this film, and yeah, the Count shows up in the Alps, I'm like, wait, is that Bond or the Count? I can't tell.
Yeah, it was a
If that
weird
is the Count,
choice.
where's Bond?
Yes, I'm not really. I don't know why they felt the need to dub him over. It really. It's a really odd decision. Yeah, there we go. We get a bit of it there. So Bond's like a master impressionist.
I mean, he's James Bond, not the Terminator.
Yeah, and the fact that his voice is exactly the same, that's the thing. It's just weird.
If MI6 has been taken over, Bond should ask him, "Hey Q, have you got that invisible car?" "Yes, I do, Mr. Bond. Come and collect it." Q's dead.
So this is the Christmas Bond film. In
Yeah,
many
it
ways.
technically is.
Oh, is. Here she is.
Then again, ITV do tend to show the Bond films around about New Year time.
Yeah, recently they've started. Now that they've got the rights to Spectre as well, they always show Skyfall and Spectre. It's like all
Well,
the older films, like before Daniel Craig, seem to go to ITV4, and then the Craig films get put on like prime time slots.
yeah, because a couple of years ago, BBC One showed Skyfall around about Christmas time.
Oh, is it BBC One? Yeah, because I know the rights for ages.
Sure, it was the BBC, yeah.
Because ITV had the rights for the longest time, and I think they still have the rights to Spectre. But yeah, recently, ITV have come under a lot of criticism for censoring their films. Apparently apparently they showed Tomb Raider recently, the 2018 one, and apparently it was just incomprehensible. Like they were cutting whole sections out of scenes for violence, and it was just like, why put it on before the watershed then if you're going to cut it so much that doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. ITV apparently are quite notorious for that. So I think Irma Bunt is terrifying. I think she's really scary in this.
Yeah.
It's later on.
I did say she seemed to be Lazenby's
Yeah,
big hunking
the
henchman, but
henchman.
she's
Yeah.
actually shorter than him.
Well, I mean, she's still like later on when he thinks it's one of the girls and he wakes her up and she just is this big jump scare where she comes at the camera. Oh man. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, Lazenby's kind of... He's just playing Sir Hilary. He's not playing Bond playing Sir Hilary. He feels like he's just playing... Like, there's no subtlety to it, really, which is a shame. But again, like, a lot of people, even I've said it before, a lot of people have said, oh, if this film had Sean Connery in it, it'd be the best film ever. I've said that before, but I honestly, on reflection, Sean Connery, I don't think would have fit this film at all. I really don't think he would have, because his Bond is he's different, and I think in this film, I don't think he would have suited, really. I think he would have been too sort of not over the top, because Sean Connery isn't over the top as Bond, but I think he would have been a bit. He wouldn't have been as emotional as this film requires, I think.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think Telly Savalas is the best Blofeld.
I'm not. I don't know if he's the best, but I do really like him. I think he's really good.
Yeah, I think he would have also been a great Lex Luthor as well.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. He looks like Lex Luthor from Superman the animated series. I just think, and in this he's so sort of like his voice. It's so sort of silky and slimy, and it sort of leads you into a false sense of security a bit. But he's such a villain. I think he's great in this.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think because they did the Bond game 007 Legends, and they had a Blofeld in that was a mixture of all three of the Blofelds in the official series.
Oh.
So you had his face looked like Telly Savalas, but he had the scar of Donald Pleasance, and he had the sort of the height and the posture of Charles Gray from Diamonds Are Forever. So it was kind of like, in that game, it was kind of like the perfect Blofeld. One of the girls in one of Blofeld's girls is actually Catherine Schall from City of Death. From yeah,
I did not know that. Yeah, 'cause she's originally from. Where's she originally from again?
Hungary. Wait, yeah, she's Hungarian. Yeah, Hungary. Yeah. Yes, because she's just listed as she's Nancy, a Hungarian girl.
I mean, the actress who plays Emma Blunt, she died not long after this film came out.
Yes, she died a few days before Christmas of 1969.
That is such a shame.
So
No, he does have a cat in this. I thought he didn't.
yeah, it's just not as sort of distinctive as the other Blofelds.
Yeah, because with the others, he's just you only see the cat, like in From
Yeah,
Russia with Love.
yeah. Oh, she died 4 days after the film's international release. Apparently, she was supposed to reprise her role in Diamonds Are Forever.
Oh,
which actually makes a lot of sense because they pretty much ignore that she ever existed in Diamonds Are Forever. They don't mention her at all, so it makes sense that she was supposed to come back, but I guess they just cut the role when she passed away.
yeah, they tried to do a crack in time,
Yeah.
pretend it never existed. But if something can be remembered,
Yeah.
it can be back.
It's one of those film scores that every time I watch the film, I'm for a few days afterwards, I'm always humming the tracks from it. Like this track here as well. It's just, yeah. Here's a cool fact. Olymp, the girl who we saw earlier at the bullfight, who was with Tracy's father, was voiced by Nikki van der Zyl, who voiced a lot of the Bond girls. So she voiced Sylvia Trent, Honey Rider, the main Bond girl in Thunderball, Domino. So yeah, that's quite interesting.
It is. Oh yeah, he has to wear a kilt.
Yeah, because we get the innuendo later on when the woman draws on his leg.
Well, Ian Fleming, when Sean Connery was cast, he did rewrite some of Bond's history to include Scottish heritage.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. See if I can spot Joanna Lumley, because I remember she's in this, but I can never actually spot her. It's
Mm-hmm.
Is that her there, sat on the, like, with the knitting?
Oh, I'm gonna have
She's
to
gone now.
squint. Yeah, even when he doesn't have the hat and glasses on, he's still dubbed over, isn't
Yeah,
he?
it's weird. It's such a bizarre choice, because it just limits a lot of his performance. But I'm wondering what he sounded like on set. Because maybe what he was doing, maybe he was actually trying to do an impression of Hilary Bray, and maybe it just sounded
Yeah,
awful.
maybe it didn't sound good.
Yeah.
We need a new cut of this film, the George Lazenby cut.
Release the Lazenby cut.
I never had much to do with young ladies. Well, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Plus, I think in the book, Blofeld's plan is just to infect Britain with a virus.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's all over the world.
Yeah, which is it's a logical sort of escalation for the film.
Mm-hmm. That girl looks like Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Did someone take Red Bull in the editing suite at this point?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Look at
It's
all the
like
fast
cutting.
chords. Yeah, we get it.
What's
There's
happening
like
here?
12 girls here. You don't have to keep cutting back to
Yeah.
them. God, it's like that scene in The Simpsons where Lisa calls Grandpa and he gives his entire life story.
Yeah.
And that's everything in my life, up until I sat down and had dinner with you lovely ladies. Surprised Tracy still marries him, given
Yeah.
the fact that you spent a weekend with
Well,
12 beautiful women.
well, this is it. This is kind of something that I kind of don't like. She is pretty much gone from the film now for a little bit.
Yeah, true.
And it kind of does that classic Bond thing of always being with a lot of women, and it's like we're forgetting that he's fell in love.
Hmm.
Yeah, this innuendo here is one of the most blatant in the series.
Oh yeah, here
Just
it comes. Oh, and God, he's wearing a kilt.
yeah,
But when they all
apparently,
get up, he's like, I'll stay down for a bit.
apparently the in the shoulder part was added at the insistence of the BBFC at the time. Apparently
Oh,
it was literally just a slight stiffness coming on, and then that was it. But the BBFC were
oh, so
like, "Ooh,
pussy galore is fine, but stiffness
yeah."
isn't.
It's like I think that was Joanna Lumley just then, the one who said, "Oh, I know what he's allergic to." But yeah, it's weird, man. I always thought this set reminded me of something like Mr. Freeze would have from the '60s Batman series. I don't know why.
Eyes to
Yeah,
see you.
I don't know why. It's just the way it's shot. It looks like a Mr. Freeze thing. Oh, that purple lighting looks really cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the bright colours is quite 60s,
Yeah,
psychedelic.
but it never goes like it. Like you said earlier, it never becomes cartoonish. It just adds to the look of the. It like it never breaks the tone that the film goes for.
Look, fellows, it's Bond in the sky. No diamonds, though.
Oh, that's from The Simpsons, right? The
Yeah,
Lisa, yeah,
because they parody Yellow Submarine.
yeah. Oh, here he is.
Hmm. I like how his plan is a retirement one because he's been the background villain for 5 of the 6 films now, so
Yeah,
it's quite fitting, I think, that he wants to retire.
yeah, it's cool. The whole no earlobes thing is always something like it's a. T-
It's like a Bond villain has to have a deformity.
yeah,
Add that in.
it's weird, but it's one of those things where it's like it doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't like it's
Yeah, when it comes to villains, the Bond films just say if you're an ugly fucker, you're destined to be a
yeah.
villain.
I mean, I've heard some people say that maybe he does recognize Bond and he's just sort of playing along with it. But why would
Possibly, yeah, that could be the reason.
Bond take that risk? Why would he go in there without a
Hmm.
disguise? Really? Like, I don't know.
Well, both have changed actors since they last met, so maybe that's the reason.
The reason is it's a film.
Yeah, I am glad that. I mean, we've had six Bond actors now. I'm glad that they've not thought of a convoluted reason to include why he looks different.
Yeah, I agree. Because I know some people are like campaigning for that. Like some people are going, "Oh, the next film
No, you
maybe,
don't.
well, the next one will get an explanation as to why he looks different." And I'm like, why does it matter? It's James
No, you don't
Bond.
need that.
Yeah, it's James Bond. It's one of those things where I'm just like, just go with it. The Bond franchise doesn't really work on a linear timeline, and that's okay. It's fine.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people just like having things like intricately connected, like continuity wise.
Yeah, because so many people make comparisons between Bond and Doctor Who, but the only thing I see similar with both of the characters is that you can change the actor every few
Yeah,
years. That's
yeah.
literally all they have in common.
I mean, that's because you get a lot of because obviously they're both long running British franchises, cultural institutions and stuff. Um, but yeah, it is odd. Because I know a lot of people. It's the same thing with when Stephen Moffat was running Doctor Who and Sherlock. The Doctor Who experience had like Sherlock merch there, and they had a whole Sherlock section. It was like these shows couldn't be any more different from each other. It's just because
Yeah,
they're
so
run
many
by the
people are
same guy.
campaigning for. Yeah, so many people are campaigning for Doctor Who and Sherlock need to do a
I know. It's
crossover.
like
I'm
what
like, no, they don't.
Sherlock.
One is a sci-fi show, the other is a crime
Yeah,
show.
and Sherlock was
Doesn't mean I
like,
want both of them together.
yeah, exactly. And Sherlock was like pretty realistic. It's
Hmm.
just I just don't get it, and it's definitely not like for a family audience. Like I wouldn't say it's like adult, but it's not like for a family audience. And you've got like the Doctor Who experience offering DVD box sets and shirts and stuff. It's like, what is this?
I mean, series four of Sherlock, it's rated a 15.
Yeah, I've not seen
I
series four.
mean,
I've seen the first
I mean,
three.
I like, I like chocolate and I like chips, but I don't want them together.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. This whole brainwashing thing is pretty like the visuals like with the insanely bright colors and everything. It's pretty cool to look at. To be fair, we'll show them the John Pertwee title sequence. That'll get them. It's a cool shot though. Like I really like the shot of him like with the lights behind him and everything. I mean, like yeah, like we were saying before, this whole thing of him like going from woman to woman, the film does sort of forget that it is a love story, which is a shame, especially because I think Casino Royale attempts to do that again, and that kind of keeps that love story pretty prominent. Because every time the series does do Bond falls in love, I think it's really only done it successfully these two times with On Her Majesty's Secret Service and Casino Royale. You still there? We seem to be having technical difficulties at the moment. uh, bear with us. We're back.
You ever been skiing?
No, I haven't actually. Have you?
No, I remember though when when I was in year 6, they took us to there's a resort that has like winter adventures because of fake snow and
Mm,
that. They took us on an ice slide where we got into rubber rings and went down the ice slide.
that's pretty cool, to be fair. No, I mean it's always one of
Yeah,
those things that it's always that idyllic kind of sport. But no, I've never. One day, one day.
I mean Bond should be. I wonder if Bond should go down the mountain and be like, "Oh dear, okay, don't panic. Remember what the instructor said. Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Stupid sexy Tracy."
This whole thing with Bernard Horsfall is pretty dark, actually.
Yeah, 'cause he gets killed, doesn't
Yeah, and
he?
it's all like off screen. It's well, not off.
Apparently, he was at drama school with Nicholas Courtney.
Oh, is he? Uh,
Yeah. hmm Because at this point, he'd been in the Mind Robber and the War Games.
yes, because was I mean I don't know what the because obviously the War Games was 69. I don't know what the production. I don't know how the productions line up. I don't know whether he was shooting this before
hmm
that or shooting this after that or what. But
Yeah, because I noticed he pops up whenever all 4 of the stories he pops in, David Maloney directs.
yes, yeah, that's a lovely shot.
There's another great shot where Bond's silhouetted against. He's in the helicopter holding the gun. He's
Yes,
silhouetted against the
and like
sunset. That looks
the
fantastic.
orange. Yeah, it's brilliant. Really, like again, I mean, because this is contrasted, like all these bright colours that the girls are wearing and everything contrasted against the snow and everything. It's a really like lush film to look at.
Yeah, because You Only Live Twice. Yeah, as big as that film is, it's very grey and silver and dirty.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as I do like that film.
I completely agree. I like the there's a nice little detail how Telly Savalas holds his cigarette.
How's he holding it?
Well, it's a he sort of I know it's hard to explain. It's I've never seen anyone else hold a cigarette like him, but it's a cool little. I like it when they have those little quirks. It's yeah, Christmas decorations again.
Yeah, this is technically Bond at Christmas
Bond
time.
at Christmas. Oh, here's the jump scare.
Oh
Here we
yeah.
go.
Yeah, the way he says "fancy meeting you here, Fräulein," that sounds weird.
Fancy meeting you here, right? Again, in the way when he gets knocked out, he just sort of does that weird cartoonish thing of he sort of smiles and goes down.
hmm I wonder if for the next Blofeld they'll have him revealed to be a robot.
Yeah, I wouldn't. To be honest, I'm surprised that this franchise has never done something like that.
No, they haven't. They've never gone for like a robot villain.
Mm.
Now he's got his voice back, hasn't he, Bond?
Yeah, thank God. It's not. It's not that like I dislike what's his name's voice. It's just thank God Lazenby's being Lazenby again.
hmm
I see what I mean. Like he's holding his cigarette like upwards when he's. It's
Yeah, he is.
It's a weird way of holding it, but it's cool. I think it's a cool little detail of the character. It's a pretty good villain plan, to be fair. It's very classic Bond villain.
Yeah, it is. hmm Plus, I like how this Blofeld isn't afraid to get his hands dirty because he chases Bond down a bobsled
Yeah,
later on in the film.
yeah, that's true. And at the end of the film, he's got his neck in a brace, isn't he? So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this whole escape sequence when he's going through the clock and stuff, I think is yeah, I think it's a bit dragged out. It's
Hmm.
one of the parts of the film that's always been a bit dragged out for me. But
Yeah.
like you said,
Yeah, when he goes back to Tracy and then yeah, going back to take out Blofeld,
yeah,
that always seems to drag for me.
yeah. I think if you like earlier I was saying, like if you trimmed little things, like get rid of those shots of the bullfight, get rid of parts of this escape, like just tighten it up a bit. I think it could you could bring it down to about, I don't know, because it's what 2 hours 22. I think you could bring it down to at least like 2 hours 10, maybe, with just cutting little bits here and there that don't really add much, just to tighten
Hmm.
up the pacing a little bit. And it's mostly this bit, like with all the clock gears and stuff, that really sort of.
Wait a minute. Cars 2 is a spy film, and that has a
Yeah.
clock tower scene in it. Did
Oh,
that
I
take
don't
influence
remember
from
that. I
this?
don't remember that. I just remember Cars 2 just being a weird blur of it felt like a straight to DVD thing.
Yep. And it really should have been.
Have you seen Cars 3?
Not yet, no, but I don't really plan to.
I watched it a few months ago. Actually, it's like on the level of the first one for me, and I quite like the first one. And
Hmm.
Cars 3 felt like the logical continuation of the first one, and they barely reference Cars 2 at all. So
No, no, stop, don't come back.
it just felt like a logical continuation from the first film, and and Cars 2 was just ignored, which I think was a good move, because it's much more in tone, like tone and the spirit of it is just much more in tune with the first one. Like it's actually got a heart to it as opposed to the second one. God, I always forget like how soaked in Christmas this is. Like eggnog
Hmm.
and Christmas trees and oh, it's Christmas Eve and everything. I always forget sort of how. Because it was released in late December. It was released on the 18th of December, which
Oh,
is
okay.
really late for a Bond film, isn't it? It's really late.
Yeah, because typically they're released around November time,
Yeah.
and I think it's because of License to Kill underperforming in the summer of '89 that every Bond film since
Yeah.
then has been released in like the autumn.
Mm. That is weird to me to release something that close to. I mean, then again, the Star Wars films, the sequel trilogy, were obviously all released in like late December, but for a Bond film, that is really weird to me.
Hmm.
I wonder if that.
Yeah, it's like Christmas is becoming the next blockbuster season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that because like a Christmas Eve tradition for me is to go to the cinema, which probably won't be happening this year. But
I never do.
like in
I never do
yeah,
that.
it's like in the daytime I always go to the cinema and then come back and like sort of. I wonder if that affected how this performed though, because the thing is, this was. I mean, looking online, it was still one of the top performing films of the year, but it was.
Not as good as You Only Live
Yeah, and
Twice.
obviously a lot of that was not having Sean Connery, but I wonder if it was like being released so close to Christmas.
Hmm.
Because famously, George Lazenby turned up to the premiere of this with like shoulder length hair and a big beard, and it really pissed off the producers because he didn't look anything like James Bond anymore. Um,
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue for actors now if they actually show up and they've got
yeah,
a different look. Because when Matt Smith left as the Doctor, he actually was still growing his hair back
yeah, he
when he
was.
had to shave it off.
Yeah, because I met him in 2013 when I was very young. It was for like the 50th anniversary, and the photo I've got with him, he's got quite short hair and stuff, and doesn't have the quiff that we sort of associate with him. Yeah, I'm looking at the photos from the
Oh,
premiere now, and he's got like a mullet, and it's been this big beard, and
yeah, he
it's
looks a bit like one of the
he
Beatles.
does, yeah. Oh, these shots are really nice. Like as much as this sequence is a bit
Hmm.
dragged out, it's really nicely done. It's like The Shining, forever and
Hmm.
ever and ever.
For and ever.
God, can you imagine James Bond in The Shining?
Oh yeah. Would have been great if Kubrick directed a Bond film.
Yeah, it would have been a hell of a film. Like, can you imagine? Like,
I mean, I think all the actors probably would have murdered Kubrick
probably,
for
yeah.
how he treats them and the amount of hell he puts them
Mm.
through.
I always have mixed feelings on that because I'm like, on the one hand, you got brilliant results, but on the other hand, it's like, oh, that was a dickish thing to do, especially with
You don't have to mentally torture them.
yeah, especially with Shelley Duvall, because he kind of messed up her life, really.
Yeah. Heck, the guy who played Lloyd, the bartender in The
Mhm.
Shining, the scene he did with Jack Nicholson when he goes to get a drink. Apparently, it took so long that by the end of the day, his entire suit was drenched in sweat.
Jesus Christ, doesn't surprise me. Because it's that whole thing of like perfection, perfection, perfectionist and stuff. But I don't know that there's a line.
David Prowse did once stand up to him because in A Clockwork Orange he had to carry a guy who was in a wheelchair, and even though he was a strong guy, he said it's still hard for me to do to carry him down the stairs, and you're not exactly known as one take Kubrick, are
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Apparently, the entire cast and crew just went silent. They were like, "Oh shit!" But
It's...
actually, Kubrick started laughing.
Jesus. I mean, I don't blame him
Yeah,
for speaking up though, because it is. You know, I love Kubrick, of course, but it's that I do.
yeah. Because I once did a short film where I filmed it about 5 years ago. We had to film in a school hall. It was like middle of July, hottest day of the year, and I had to do a sword fight
Oh really? Oh
in a
damn!
school
Oh
uniform.
bloody hell! Oh
After every take, I literally had someone wipe the sweat off me
yeah,
and just give me some water.
that must
I
have
felt like
been
Millhouse at the
hellish.
end. Yeah, I felt like Millhouse in Radioactive Man.
Uh,
It took 7 hours, but we did it. It's done. Yes, but we've got to shoot it at different angles, again and again, and again and again and again. Yeah, this bit kind of drags. Like,
mm,
we know what the girls are gonna do. We don't have to see bit by bit details of them getting released.
yeah, this is what I mean. But I love this though, with the music of him getting onto the skis and everything, and then it kicks off as he goes down. I think it's brilliant.
Is this the first time we see Bond skiing?
Think so, yeah.
Because he does it again in Spy Who Loved Me, and I
Mm.
think For Your Eyes Only,
Yeah, yeah.
and The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah, this is where the film started in the television edit for ABC.
What?
Yeah, and like, at this point you've got this narrator going, "Bond here. These orange-suited bully boys are shaking them off my tail." It's bizarre, especially because it's such a great
Like,
sequence.
what? I mean, yeah. I mean, I suppose take away the context, it could make for a Bond cold opening.
It could, yeah. And like the music, I love this piece of music. It's so good. I,
So I like how Blofeld actually goes skiing as
yeah,
well.
he actually takes matters into his own hands.
I don't know if this was actually Lazenby skiing.
Not sure. Maybe for some of the shots.
I
Yeah.
mean, when he's got those goggles on, he looks a bit like Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka.
The back projection later on is a bit ropey, but I think it works quite well here. Like the colours aren't too different. You still there?
Yeah, I'm
Just
still
making sure because of what happened
there.
last time.
Yeah. Yeah, the shot of the flares looks really good.
Mm.
And the sun's starting to come up, which is a nice transition.
Yeah, I really like this whole bit. It's really just getting to like from when he goes into the clockwork and the gear and everything. All that just really drags, and then we get to this bit, and it's immediately like back up to.
Yeah. Yeah, the main theme is used really well
Yeah,
here.
it is, and the way it's like sped up and everything.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't just keep using the classic Bond theme
Yeah.
because it kind of gets annoying when you use it all the time.
Yeah, they copy and paste it at the end, and that's really the only time that it's properly used outside of
Hmm.
like the start and everything. And
Yeah, skiing just looks so dangerous. It looks
I
like your body
know.
could split apart if
Yeah.
you just turn. God, it looks like a straight drop.
Yeah. That
Still doesn't look like he's
that's a
close.
composite shot, isn't it? It because you can see the
Yeah.
it's kind of flickering as the camera moves. The angle's a bit odd on that, but yeah.
That person's falling a bit weird.
Yeah, I think it's probably because like, you could see his
Looks like a
parachute. That
dummy.
was a dummy. It's the dummy from A View to a Kill, which is hilarious when they drop a dummy out of an airship, and it's just like doesn't even look remotely convincing.
Damn, that's a big
Yeah.
drop.
At that point, uh, I mean, does he make a quip here, or is that later? I think that's
I don't
later.
know, because,
At that point,
yeah, Lazenby doesn't really make much
yeah.
clips.
At that point, that is definitely a point where Connery or Moore would have made a pun there as he threw the guy off the cliff.
Well, there's such a funny scene in The World Is Not Enough where, yeah, they're skiing, that guy falls off the cliff, and he makes a quip, but then he immediately gets back up again, I think, in a helicopter or something.
Yes,
And
yes.
Bond's facial expression just turns from a smug smile to a, wait, what?
This never happened to the other fella.
This never happened to the other thing.
No, I can't do Pierce Brosnan's voice.
Filthy habit.
Filthy habit.
I'm Fierce Pierce Brosnan.
Fierce Pierce.
My name's Bond. James Bond. Gonna have a field day when we get to this
Yeah.
film.
It makes me laugh. If you ever listen to the commentary for, have you seen Man with the Golden Gun?
No, I haven't.
On
Not all of it.
yeah,
No.
on the Blu-ray there's a commentary with Roger Moore, and there's a bit where bit in the film where there's a bit where he throws this kid into the water. And it's quite a like morally weird thing to do. He just throws a kid into the water, and on the commentary, Roger Moore just goes, "I probably shouldn't have done that." Like he's just making like throughout the film, he just makes these weird like comments like that. Here's where Bond gets freaked out by a bear in a minute, a guy in a bear suit, and like Bond actually looks terrified.
Yeah, like the bear scene in The Shining.
Yeah.
Is that we have all the time in the world that the band's playing?
Uh,
Or is it just a
I
Christmas
think it's
song?
just because now we're getting the Nina song, the "Do You Know How Christmas Trees Are Grown?" But I think
Oh yeah, that.
Actually, I remember actually like a few years ago it came on the radio. It was around Christmas time, and it was like, you have to name which James Bond film this song is from, and I was like, what the bloody what? I don't recognise this. And then they announced it, and I was like, oh yeah, from the market scene. There's the bear. It's But it's Bond's shriek, like you just go. "Ah!" I really love this shot of Tracy coming in now. Like this is all so chaotic, like cutting between them, like shaky cam, and then it's just a shot of her feet coming in, and the film just slows down and stabilizes it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's such a cool way of reintroducing her into the film. Yeah, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pan up and it's just fantastic. And interestingly, that this coincides with the bit in the song where the lyrics are saying he needs love, and the song's saying that when Tracy comes in.
I think she should have gone undercover with him.
I think so too. I really yeah. It's a shame that she does disappear a bit, but it would have been nice if she had more of a presence. But like I said, this I just love that whole reintroduction to Tracy is just magic. Oh yeah, of course, because
yeah, I'm surprised. In the '60s, Bond never encountered hippies.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually.
Then again, the books were probably written before hippie culture, so
I'm surprised the films didn't like contemporary references though, because it wouldn't be the first time. Yeah, in a minute, when they're in the barn, we get the Vaseline smudged on the lens, don't we?
Yeah, that
it is weird.
Did they watch the Web Planet and think, I know how to create disorientating effects? Rub Vaseline on the lens.
Oh man. Oh man, I'm on Dalek's Master Plan in my marathon, and when I watched the Web Planet a few months ago, I had to really take long breaks in between each of the episodes just because the noise gave me such a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Like every minute of every episode filled with that annoying chirping.
I think when I first watched it, I needed a break after every episode, and usually I can watch a lot of stories in one go.
I don't even mind it. Like, it's not one I hate. Like, I can watch it. It's just it gives me a headache. Like, just because of the noises and the smeary image and stuff. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I need to stop. It gets huge points for like ambition and being creative, but it really sort of overshot itself.
Yeah, that's a great shot of the cars
it is.
And the headlights illuminated.
It's fantastic, yeah. And like they're like the back projection of the cars with the headlights reflected in the windows and stuff. It looks great. It looks it's a really good shot, and I think because it's dark, it blends better. Whereas when you've got like
because I think in the past they wouldn't have done that. They'd have just had just used projections and rarely have got these outside shots.
Or whereas later on during the sort of climactic sequence, the effects look a bit shonky then. I think just because they're in bright daylight, and it just I don't know. Here they look pretty cool, I think. Although suddenly
I like how though it's Tracy saving Bond.
Yeah, it's a cool little, and it's for the time. This was pretty like. This was the first time that had really happened.
I mean, the only close thing I can think of is Domino killing Largo.
Yeah.
At the end of Thunderball.
But even then, like this is like explicitly Bond is in a sticky situation. He's not got a lot of hope, and she's there to rescue him. It's a very sort of
Hmm.
different thing.
Yeah, this is clearly propaganda that Bond is being replaced by a woman.
Oh man.
I'll just ignore the 24 previous films where there are instances where Bond does get one-upped by a
Hmm.
woman, and I'll ignore the fact that his boss was a woman at one
Ignore the
point.
fact that GoldenEye is literally an entire film about addressing how Bond is still relevant in a post-Cold War world. Did the Discord crap out there? Hello? We're having technical difficulties, folks. If you'll bear with us. There we go.
Hmm.
Hopefully, this should be alright. But yeah, what we were saying, like, GoldenEye is a whole film like dedicated to exploring whether Bond's still relevant in like post Cold War.
Yeah,
But people conveniently ignore that.
yeah, but they respond with, Bond's not getting replaced in that
Yeah.
film, though. No, and he's not getting replaced in the
To
new
be
film
honest,
either. Just shut the
yeah.
feg up.
To be honest, that whole thing was unfortunately the media being Jesus Christ. The guy barely got out of that explosion alive. Um, th-
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I just realised
yeah.
that.
The problem is the media constantly going, Lashana Lynch is the new 007, which yes she is, but
No,
that headline,
but she's
she's
not.
not James Bond.
She's not James
That
Bond.
those headlines were so misleading. It was so annoying because I had
Yeah.
so many people who weren't like Bond fans and didn't read the articles, like going, "This is wrong," and I'm like, "Read the article."
Oh, God, it reminds me of the snow scene in The Simpsons with Homer and Flanders.
Yeah.
I think we hit something. I hope it's Flanders. Well, you better turn that engine off before those fumes put us in tombs.
Yeah, here's
Yeah, you genuinely think that's a gunshot, but
yeah,
no, it's just the doors banging.
here's a bit of the Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah, I notice it now. Is it trying to make her look more
Yeah,
angelic or
they
something?
did it a lot in like in the '60s and stuff. It's trying to make the women seem all the more sort of gorgeous and stuff. And to be honest, I don't think Diana really needs it in this.
No, definitely not. Did they even sleep together, or did they were they planning to save it after they got married?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether it's sort of implied or not because I think it does sort of cut away after the proposal, and then we see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is really weird. Like whenever the camera's on Bond, the image is crystal clear, and then every time it cuts to a shot of Tracy, you can see the Vaseline.
It's angelic.
It's like
You might as well add a
yeah,
oh sound.
it's really like jarring.
You should have asked her, who were you thinking about? Oh, I was thinking about Sean Connery.
he plays all this really subtly as well, like the "Will you marry me?" There's a nice. He's quite underplayed in a way, like all this.
Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely suited to this
Yeah,
type of film.
absolutely.
But if he stayed for a... The weird thing is, he signed on for 7
Yeah, he did.
films.
It's weird to me that that was the
I
thing.
mean, I'm surprised he didn't keep up with it because, you know,
Mm,
a regular income for an actor is probably their greatest dream.
yeah. Yeah, he says the proper time for this is our wedding night.
Ah, yeah, so they don't sleep together
Yeah.
then. And they never get to.
Yeah, that's very true.
So she might be one of those few main Bond girls that he doesn't have sex with.
That's what I've never really thought of that actually, because I think because they have that with the girls at the bloody Piz Gloria thing. They never really, and he never does it with Tracy. That's very.
Because even in Casino Royale, he definitely sleeps with
Yeah.
Vesper.
Oh yeah, no, he does. Yeah. That's a very good point. I've never considered that. Oh, maybe they do though, because the horses watch them.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
It's like that scene from The Inbetweeners when the dog keeps watching Jay
Yeah.
masturbate. Fucking hell, Benji.
Benji. he, he tries to play fetch with it and run away. And the dog
Yeah,
just keeps.
but it keeps coming back.
Oh, that shot of like all of the henchmen going down the slope at the same time.
That is great, yeah.
That's cool. I love it.
It's a shame Bond doesn't use his Union flag parachute because it would have been perfect for this film.
Yeah, it would have.
Because it's called On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I mean, it's weird how it's called On Her Majesty's, but, you know, nothing in any of the films Bond never reports to the Queen.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
The closest we get is in For Your Eyes Only when he talks, well,
Yes.
quote unquote, talks
To
to
Margaret
Margaret Thatcher on the
Thatcher.
phone.
With the parrot. That's such an out of.
Give us a kiss! Give us a kiss!
For a film that made attempts to go a bit more serious with Roger Moore, that is a weird thing to include at the end.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's a bit dark for Bond.
Oh god. Ah. Yeah. Oh. Oh. The
Yeah.
blood spraying everywhere. Wow. This is a PG.
He had lots of
Oh,
guts.
there's a clip. Yeah, you can just tell he doesn't feel comfortable saying those quips.
Yeah, I don't know. That one seems okay though, just because it's in the middle of the action and it's sort of like, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that one he gets away with. This avalanche sequence is cool, and the fact that a lot of it was actually done for real as well. Like they filmed this avalanche.
Oh, right. I thought they'd have gone with stock footage.
I think some of it is stock footage, but a lot of the higher quality shots they actually did like set off explosives and film the avalanche, which is pretty cool. I think some of the grainier bits of footage are stock, but the majority of it is completely for real, which is really cool. Yeah, I think that's stock footage. Like, but
Hmm. I mean, I bet Blofeld's buried under there with his henchmen and be like,
yeah.
we shouldn't speak unless it's absolutely, positively necessary. Shh, shh, you're causing more avalanches. Yeah, this is really impressive for the
It's very
60s.
impressive. Yeah, it's really well done. It's a very good sequence.
Yeah, because the great thing about even the Bond films of today is that they still go practical in their
Mm.
effects.
Yeah, no, look, yeah,
Aside from Die Another Day and its iceberg
yeah.
surfing,
I mean, the
whatever the hell
weakest
that
part of
is.
Skyfall is those weird CGI lizards that Bond.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, then.
Did you know actually Bond's hand is CGI in that sequence as well?
No, I had no
Yeah, because he
idea.
was wearing a glove, so they had to digitally remove the glove. And
Oh,
I really don't know why he was wearing a glove. But if you look at certain shots of his hand in that sequence, it's kind of puffy. That is an amazing shot. That is so cool with it reflecting in the windows.
that is cool,
I
yeah.
love
And
it.
now Bond has to save
Mm.
Tracy.
That's a British.
They're perfect for each
Yeah.
other because they save each other.
That's such a unique thing for a Bond film as well to have a shot like that where it's in the windows and stuff. Like you don't see that often.
Hmm.
I like how Lazenby plays this bit as well, like pacing up and down. Like you can see he's like the bubbling anger and like in his
Hmm.
eyes as well. It's cool.
Do we not see Q until the wedding scene? Because I know we see
Uh,
him briefly in the cold
yeah.
opening.
But yeah, that's it. We see him briefly at the start and then at the end.
Yeah, and he still gets a credit in the
Yeah.
titles. But yeah, I guess because this film doesn't rely too much on gadgets, that there's not much purpose for
Yeah.
him.
I mean, yeah, is there a gadget in this? I'm trying to think. There's not really. There
No,
isn't a gadget.
I don't think so.
The only gadgets that are used are by the brainwashed girls because they have that satellite thingy. That's
Hmm.
literally it. Bond, James Bond.
Oh yeah, I think here comes the
Yeah,
shot.
I love it. Even just the helicopter.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
shots look
even just the
great.
helicopters on their own. It's like this line here. Hang on a second. Yeah, this line. His brotherhood also have exotic ways to keep it a close shot. Was apparently reinserted into the film for the Blu-ray.
Oh, I
Not
didn't know
sure
that.
why it was cut to, but not sure if it was in the theatrical release. Not sure but apparently it wasn't on the DVD. So who knows? Apparently there's a few lines like that during this film, but I know that's definitely one of them.
Reminds me a bit of Return of the Jedi. I don't know, fly casual. Yeah, it's amazing how 50 years later it still holds up on a technical
Yeah,
level, for the most
yeah, for the
part.
most part, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's really the only area where the effects kind of aren't as good as the sequence coming up with like the bobsled and everything. But even then, they're
Hmm.
still okay.
Yeah. I know we get another clip from Lazenby at the end of that. He's branched off.
Yeah, and then he plays with the dog, doesn't he? Go and get the brandy, eh?
Yeah, the weird thing is, obviously Blofeld gets caught on a tree, but no one takes him into custody?
Yeah, he
Or
just
does he... Or is
escapes.
he taken into custody but he
I don't know. It's
escapes?
not really explained, is it?
Yeah.
You just think, like how Tracy is kind of deceiving him here and playing along with it. She's such a great character. It really does come as a gut punch when she with what happens to her at the end.
Yeah, because she never, even though she's a prisoner here, she doesn't scream for help or
Yeah,
say, "Oh,
she's
Bond will come for me,"
she's
and
being
things like
really like
that.
conniving. Oh yeah, there's the shot.
There it
There.
is, yeah,
Oh,
great.
so cool.
There's nothing more prettier than snow in the sunset.
Yeah, this is true.
Because I remember I went on a school trip once, up in the North Yorkshire Hills, and we went on really long walks, and it was like early December and it had snowed, so
Mm.
the landscape looked beautiful.
Yeah, that's why I love the snow, man. It's where I am. We haven't had snow in a
Uh,
while.
yeah, I hope we get some this Christmas.
Hopefully, I hope we get Christmas this Christmas.
Well, I tend to stay at home anyway,
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's good. Tracy fighting back with the bottle and everything, and really the only time the Bond theme is majorly used in an action sequence.
Yeah, it's really
Doo
well
doo
used here.
doo doo. Yeah, I agree.
It's not like in From Russia with Love where he's in the hotel room just
Yeah,
walking and it's blasting out.
I agree. She's fending for herself. It's. I like it. Kind of establishes that.
Ow, he got that round his
Yeah.
head.
um. It does kind of establish that this is like a real. These guys are real threats as well. Like they are.
Hmm.
This one henchman is giving Tracy some grief here. Like quite like she spent quite a lot of time with this one guy. It kind of establishes that these henchmen aren't just disposable. Like they are threats to these characters.
Hmm.
He said guns make me nervous then. It sounded like he was in the voice of Hillary. When he said it, it sounded like he was doing the Hillary voice. That was weird.
Yeah.
Or flamethrower.
Ironic because we're in a cold
Mm.
location.
Oh, I love the purple lighting here with the chemical on the wall and stuff. Is that
Hmm.
acid? Looks cool.
Oh no, it's boiling acid. That does remind me of that scene in The Simpsons where Homer nearly drinks acid and Frank Grimes stops him,
Oh yeah,
but gets into trouble
that's an
over it.
amazing episode.
I mean, I once kind of did that. I went for my bottle of water, but well, it's not acid,
Yeah.
but I went for my bottle of water and I accidentally picked up a bottle of PVA glue, and
Oh
I was like, oh
Jesus.
shit. To be honest, I just started laughing like Homer. I was just like, God, my first would have been red.
Jesus, that would have been a disaster.
Hmm.
Do, 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 do.
Yeah, Bond more or less does this outside of M's
Yeah, he
jurisdiction,
does.
doesn't he?
And again, it's like ideas that would be used later on in the Daniel Craig series of
And yeah, even the Dalton
License
era
to
of him
Kill,
going
yeah.
rogue. So yeah, it's definitely an influential film in the long run.
Absolutely, yeah. And it really is a shame that it was looked down upon for so long, just because of how well made it is and how brilliantly it's put together.
Mm-hmm. Because I think if Goldfinger is the quintessential tongue-in-cheek Bond, this is probably the quintessential serious
Yeah.
Bond. Not a fan of him punching.
Yeah, me neither.
And now we're coming up to the bobsled chase.
Yeah, this is the one area where the effects don't look. I mean, that model of the base blowing up looks awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
But
Yeah, the bobsled effects have sadly
yeah,
aged quite a
and again, I think
bit.
it's literally just because it is like in bright, stark daylight against bright snow and everything. I think it's a shame.
It's more
Yeah, it
noticeable.
blends
I
better in the
think it would have
dark.
been maybe cooler and even more personal if it was on if he chased him on foot and took him in
Yeah, I
maybe.
agree.
If there was an actual fist fight between the two.
Well, again, in the 007 Legends game, when they adapt this part of the film, the finale is actually him and Blofeld in the tram carriage, the
Hmm.
the what's it called? Yeah, the tram thing in the sky. Where's my mind blanking?
Yeah, the back.
Um, it's him and Blofeld,
I'm
and you have to
just
fight him, and it's like a fist fight in there. So like,
yeah, the back projection
yeah,
like
yeah,
here just doesn't
it's
hold
a
up.
shame. Yeah, especially like because the lighting just doesn't match. It is a shame because earlier it did look pretty good, and I think because the back projected footage is so much grainier as well. But
Hmm.
again, in the dark you can hide that. Uh,
Hmm. Though I am reminded of Cool Runnings in
yeah,
this
me.
scene. Slow it down! Oh my god! Oh,
That was a
ouch!
cool
That looks like
stunt.
it hurts.
It was a cool
Yeah.
stunt though. It reminds me of the bit from The Simpsons as well when he pulls the grenade. And he just spends so much time holding it and making this grand speech, and it just blows
Holds a
up.
grenade too long. Edge brother Asa, killed in the Great War, held a grenade too long. I was once playing COD and I actually did
Yeah,
that.
I've done that many
I
times
just,
in
I let go
games.
of the grenade and I just held
Yeah.
it.
Well, I do that a lot in games because I'm just like, oh, be tactical. I'll pull the grenade now and I'll surprise someone, and then just no one comes along. The stunt works pretty good though. Like the back projection may look a bit
Yeah.
dodgy, but the actual stunts are pretty great.
hmm Yeah, at the age Lazenby was, he could have done loads
Mm,
of
mm.
films.
Yeah, absolutely. He could have. It is weird to me that Roger Moore was already like in his 40s by the time he did his first one, and he was the longest running Bond.
Yeah. hmm
There we
Oh
go.
god, here comes the.
He's branched off.
His lips aren't even
Yeah.
moving.
It does look like he's been put through hell though. Ah, here's the dog.
Where did. Yeah.
Go and get the
Where did,
brandy, huh?
where did the dog
I
come
don't
from?
know. Yeah, the dog just come out of nowhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Apparently, on some versions of the film, and it's never been released on disc. I think it was just some prints back in the day had an extra shot here of Irma Bunt reflected in the window as Bond goes to buy the ring, and it was supposed to,
Oh, I
yeah, it was
see.
supposed to be like she was watching
hmm
them, which would have been quite creepy. But I've never seen that footage.
I mean, I've not read the entire book, but I've actually read the ending of Casino Royale, and the final line of the book is "The bitch is dead."
Yeah, there's a hell of a final line.
Hmm.
Like, I've not read it either, but it's yeah, yeah, it is cute.
Ah, there he is. They left me to the end of the film, the bastards. Though he's not in Live and Let Die.
Yeah, I always forget that. It's weird.
You know, I reckon if they wanted to stay true to Desmond Llewellyn's wishes, they'd have got his skeletal remains and have him still be Q. Just imagine Q sat in the chair at Q Branch, just
Yeah.
holding a gadget for 007.
CGI Desmond Llewellyn face replacement.
Oh god.
CGI Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One. CGI Desmond Llewellyn. Oh, I love this hat toss. This is a great bit. I really love that bit.
Yeah, it'd have been such a happy ending for, I don't know, the final. Say if this was the final James Bond film, it would have been the perfect
Yeah,
ending. He's finally found the woman he wants to spend the rest of his
yeah,
life with. He's completed his final mission. He's finished off his arch
yeah.
nemesis.
It would be pretty great.
Let's turn the film off. Nothing else happens
Fade
now.
out. I always think that shot of the car driving off, I could always imagine the end credits appearing then.
Yeah. On a Majesty Secret Service, the happy
Yeah.
ending.
Not bad for a start.
We have all the time in the world, he said the
Yeah.
song. Plus, do you see, I think we might have missed it, but do you see a "world is not enough" motto in this
Yeah, I
film?
did. I mentioned it earlier. It's when they're
Uh,
when he's reading the coat of arms, and Hillary
mhm.
Bray's like, "Oh, good motto, eh? The world is not enough."
Could imagine these two doing missions together.
Yeah, totally. It would have been interesting to see what the films would have been like if she'd have been kept alive, but it wasn't to be.
But then again, this is uh, faithful
Yeah,
to
it
the
is. Yeah.
book.
It was Irma Bunt that did it. He should be after her, not Blofeld. He was only driving.
Yeah.
But like I said, the films pretend she never existed now.
Interesting thing about this scene is that I think they did two versions of it. One where Lazenby was crying his eyes
Yeah.
out, and the one you see here, because apparently Peter Hunt said James Bond doesn't cry.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I I know they like it's like the Tenant's Regeneration. They did 4 versions of that, each with a different level of
Hmm.
like tears. And
Yeah.
they
Because, I mean, cut to Skyfall, Craig is crying his eyes out when M
yeah,
dies.
exactly. I think he
Yeah, I always point to this scene when people say Lazenby was
yeah, I think
terrible.
he's great here.
No, he's great. It's and there's no music as well. Oh wait,
Yeah,
there's a
this is
bit.
what I mean. The music's so quiet and it fades out really nicely, and then we get the Bond theme. It just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
As in the version I did, it just it this fade out segues into like a slower version of the All the Time in the World song.
Yeah, I don't
It
like that. It's
really,
like, well, that
yeah, it
sucks.
really doesn't fit, does it? And it's
Mm.
just like this image of like you can see her body there, and just this bombastic theme is playing. It's ridiculous. But yeah,
Yeah, Catherine Shell plays.
Nancy.
Oh, Katharina von Shell.
Oh, Katharina.
Nancy. Eng. Oh, English. That's Joanna
Yeah,
Lumley.
she's the English one.
So they're not. So some of them aren't
Yeah,
even given names. They're just called from their country.
that's really an
He
abrupt.
will return in Diamonds Are Forever,
Not this
but
one.
not as George Lazenby.
So that is on Her Majesty's Secret Service. One of my very favourite films in the whole series. I think it's a great film.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, me too. And I've not seen it in a while, but there's still stuff look again and
yeah,
notice, and yeah, it holds up terrifically well.
yeah.
I
It's a
think
really
more than I think. More than I think a lot of the other Connery films.
yeah. I agree. It's so like visually distinct and stylistically, it's just such a unique film, and it feels like it's on another level from what came before. I just think it's a
Hmm.
fantastic film. Yeah,
Those credits were
they
unbelievably
were.
short.
Yeah, that's the thing with these early Bond films. But yes, so that is the end of the commentary. We had a few technical hiccups with this one, but hopefully, we'll,
We can fix it in
yeah,
editing.
hopefully it should be fine. I'll try not to make it like desync too much, but if despite that, hopefully you've enjoyed this commentary. We will be back next time with what are we doing next time? I've forgotten.
We are doing The Spy
Spy Who
Who
Loved
Loved
Me,
Me.
excellent. So we'll be back next time with The Spy Who Loved Me. As always, I will link Isaac's channel in the description. Go and subscribe to him. And yes,
Hmm.
see you next time.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.